When we met Anika Molesworth in 2015, tackling climate change was already a priority.
We're the next generation of food producers, and I see climate change is our greatest challenge. I'm optimistic that Paris can change the trajectory that we are currently on.
But almost 5 years later, the hypothetical has become a reality.
So it's 44 degrees today, and these extreme high temperatures actually pose a health and safety risk to farmers. This farm used to be a viable sheep farming business. It's no longer at the moment because of the intensity of the drought. So a lot of farmers in this region are saying that this is not a normal drought anymore. We've got fourth generation farmers in this district who are walking off the land. These are properties that have been held in these families since their great-grandparents.
When Anika's family moved here 20 years ago, they switched from merinos to a more drought-tolerant African breed. But even these sheep can't cope.
And then in the last few years, this drought has been so intense that we reduced our numbers. Now we're running less than 50 animals, whereas in a good season, we were running about 1,000. So the arid zone is incredibly fragile. It's a very ancient environment, and we've got 500-year-old river red gums, which are on their last legs. They're dying. And we know that there are longer-term changes in place because those trees have survived 500 years. Something is different now.
Another gum in a gully of the property, the curly-leaf mallee, only exists in a couple of pockets of Australia.
They've been dated between 800 to 1,000 years old. These are old trees that have evolved over millennia to survive in the most harshest of conditions. But these trees are no longer regenerating. They germinate fine in glass houses and in controlled environments. But we've also set up temperature stations, and we're recording 70, 75 degree open ground summer temperatures. So these soils are baking, and any seedling that is trying to germinate is not surviving.
Anika isn't just speaking up for the farmers around Broken Hill. She reckons her whole industry can take a leading role.
So agriculture holds a very unique position on the topic of climate change, because we are responsible for generating greenhouse gas emissions. We are also one of the most vulnerable and exposed industries to the impacts of climate change. When you look at wineries, piggeries, dairies, they use a lot of energy, and it makes good business sense to have solar panels, to have wind turbines, to be using these renewable energies. I do get angry. I get really frustrated that, people in positions that could actually change the trajectory that we are currently on feign deafness to the causes and blindness to the copious opportunities that are actually out there. I'm a realistic person, but I am optimistic about the future because I know what can be done. I know we can do it better. I know that I can do it better. Well, my dream is to take on the family farm. I have this great sense of belonging here. It is a landscape which I absolutely love. And I'm here, speaking for it because we are facing the most challenging conditions we have ever faced.
But at least Anika won't be facing those conditions on her own.
Yeah, so when I came out here to Broken Hill, I met a boy called Corey, who I fell in love with, and we're getting married out here in March. And even though there's this awful drought going on, we're going to dance in the dust.
Well, that part of Western New South Wales has been in drought now for years. It's really tough country. Broken Hill, anyone who's been out there can tell you that. What they need is rain. You can understand her complete passion.
But, Pricey, here's the question, though. What is a story like that going to move the needle for National Party folk in the government who don't think that climate change is real? Because there are plenty of them in the government. This isn't some inner-city woke, as Michael McCormack puts it. It's someone on the land who's experienced it.
I think the Nationals have lost the plot, personally, but, you look at that situation with her. She's passionate about being a farmer, and she's just got to pray for rain and hope it comes. It will come again, but surviving a drought like that is just
amazing.
So heartbreaking.
She stayed so positive.
Such incredible optimism.